I decided to go 48 hours without the internet, and I thought, how hard could it really be? 2 days of just living life, right? I didn't think much of it. I turned off my Wi-Fi, stashed my phone in a drawer, and shut my laptop. Let me know in the comments below how you think you'd handle it, or if you've ever tried something similar. Don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And hey, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss out on my next adventure. Within the first hour, I was already regretting everything. The silence hit me first. No notifications, no buzzing, no background music from Spotify or random YouTube videos. I just sat there, staring at the wall, wondering what people even did before the internet existed. It felt empty, like really empty. I thought, all right, I'll read a book. That's productive and offline, right? So I grabbed a novel I'd been meaning to read for months. I sat down, opened the first page, and my mind immediately started wandering. I kept thinking about my email inbox, about the TikToks I wasn't watching, about all the memes I was missing out on. I'd read a sentence, then forget what I just read because I was too distracted by the thought of not being connected. By the second hour, I realized how much I rely on the internet for literally everything. I was hungry, so I decided to make lunch. Normally, I'd look up a recipe or watch a YouTube video for ideas, but guess what? No internet. I ended up making the most random meal ever. Some dry toast, scrambled eggs, and a can of beans. After lunch, I thought, okay, let's try something creative. I pulled out a sketch pad and some pencils, thinking I'd channel my inner artist. But without Pinterest for inspiration, my brain was like a blank canvas. I started drawing a tree, but it looked more like a lopsided broccoli. Frustrated, I threw the sketch pad aside. Then I thought, why not go outside? Fresh air, no screens. It sounded nice in theory. But when I stepped outside, I realized I couldn't even take pictures or post an Instagram story about my little nature adventure. What's the point of seeing a beautiful sunset if you can't share it with your followers? It felt weird to just experience things without documenting them. By the end of the first day, I was already losing it. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit, only to remember it was locked away. I'd sit on the couch, pick up the TV remote, and then realize I couldn't even stream Netflix. Everything felt so limited. I tried listening to the radio, yes, the actual radio, but the static and cheesy commercials drove me insane. Sleeping that night was harder than I expected. Normally, I'd scroll through my phone until I got sleepy, but now I was just lying there in the dark, staring at the ceiling. My brain wouldn't shut off. I kept wondering what I was missing online. New trends, messages, updates. The fear of missing out was real. The next morning, I woke up feeling hopeful. Maybe today will be better, I told myself. Spoiler, it wasn't. Breakfast was another struggle. Without YouTube tutorials or food blogs, I ended up eating cereal because I couldn't figure out what else to make. Then I thought, let's do something productive. I decided to clean my room. But halfway through, I got bored because I didn't have a podcast or music to keep me entertained. Cleaning in silence is honestly one of the worst things ever. By mid-morning, I was desperate for some kind of distraction. I tried journaling, but it just turned into a rant about how much I missed the internet. Day 2 without Wi-Fi, I wrote. I'm starting to forget what memes look like. I even tried calling a friend on my landline. Yes, I still have one, but they didn't pick up because who even answers unknown numbers anymore? I felt completely cut off from the world. Around lunchtime, I hit a new low. I thought, maybe I'll go for a walk to clear my head, but even that felt pointless without Google Maps. I got lost in my own neighborhood because I'd forgotten how to navigate without GPS. I had to stop and ask someone for directions, which felt like something out of a history book. By the afternoon, I started noticing some weird side effects. For one, I was talking to myself a lot more than usual. I tried to distract myself by organizing my closet, but that only lasted 20 minutes. I found an old puzzle and thought, this will keep me busy. But after putting together 10 pieces, I was already bored. The second night was even worse than the first. I couldn't stop thinking about all the notifications piling up on my phone. What if someone had tagged me in a post? What if there was a breaking news story? What if I was missing out on a viral trend? The anxiety was unbearable. By hour 36, I was a complete mess. I felt like I was living in a time capsule from the 90s, except worse, because at least people back then didn't know what they were missing. I couldn't even entertain myself with DVDs because I don't own any. My only option was regular cable TV, and let's be honest, who watches that anymore? I started counting down the hours until I could reconnect. It was like waiting for Christmas morning, except instead of presents, I was waiting for Wi-Fi. When the timer finally hit 0, I practically sprinted to my phone. I turned on the Wi-Fi, opened my apps, and let the notifications flood in. It was like a digital homecoming party. Messages, emails, memes, It was all there, waiting for me. Reconnecting felt like a breath of fresh air. I immediately started scrolling through TikTok, catching up on everything I'd missed. It was like drinking water after being stranded in the desert. So, what did I learn from this experience? Honestly, not much. Life without the internet is hard. Really hard. And while some people romanticize the idea of disconnecting, I don't recommend it. The internet isn't just a luxury, it's a part of our daily lives. It's how we communicate, work, learn, and entertain ourselves. Sure, I survived, but I wouldn't call it living. The internet may have its downsides, but after 48 hours without it, I can confidently say, I'd rather deal with the occasional buffering than go through that again. Would I ever do this challenge again? Absolutely not. But hey, at least now I know how much I appreciate having the world at my fingertips. By the end of this 48-hour experiment, I realized something profound. The internet wasn't just a tool I used. It had become a fundamental part of my identity. It dictated how I spent my time, what I thought about, and even how I perceived myself. Without it, I was forced to confront the quieter, often overlooked parts of my life, the books gathering dust on my shelves, the creative hobbies I'd abandoned, and the conversations I could have had with loved ones instead of staring at a screen. This disconnect wasn't just about unplugging from Wi-Fi. It was about reconnecting with who I was beyond the digital world. I felt a deep sense of clarity as I became more aware of the habits that had consumed my time and the simple joys I had neglected for so long. Life offline felt slower, yes, but also richer, more authentic, and far more meaningful. It dawned on me that the internet, while powerful, doesn't define us. It's how we use it that shapes our lives. This challenge showed me the importance of balance, and it's a lesson I hope to carry forward in my everyday life. As I reflected on the experience, one thing became clear. Our lives are so intertwined with the internet that we often forget what true downtime feels like. Without constant notifications or the urge to check my phone, I rediscovered the joy of simply being. I realized how much of my time was being siphoned by mindless scrolling, endless emails, and digital noise. Taking a step back allowed me to think deeply about my goals, priorities, and even the relationships in my life. It wasn't just about surviving without the internet. It was about thriving in its absence and finding a version of myself that felt more grounded, more intentional, and far more present in the moment. Now, I want to hear from you. Could you take on this challenge? Let me know in the comments below how you think you'd handle it, or if you've ever tried something similar. If you enjoyed this journey and want more content that challenges the norm, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And hey, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on my next adventure. There's so much more to explore, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Thank you for watching, and until next time, remember, sometimes disconnecting is the best way to reconnect with what really matters.